Hi everybody, Patrick here from EngineeringShot.com and ElectronicLessons.com. What this module can do is turn on AC devices for a duration of 30 seconds, 1 minute, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour, based on the setting of this dip switch. If you leave them all in the opposition, you got 30 seconds. If you turn the rightmost on, you get 1 minute. If you turn the second from the right on, you get 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour. And what you do is you set that setting manually, and then you press this button. The relay will click on, and it'll stay on for the duration. It's quite accurate, even though we're using the internal RC oscillator of the PIC 10F222. I believe in the 1 hour setting you miss about 15 seconds. So it's good for Christmas lights and whatnot. You leave it on for an hour. Anyway, so it's very easy to use. There is an external arming system here. Or triggering system rather. If you short those two leads, it acts the same as this button. So you can use a transistor to short it, you can use a manual switch, you can solder to it, and you got two big pads. Anyway, what we'll do is we will put this together, and then we will put it to use by turning on a lamp or something with it. So first of all, let me show you what we have to put this together with. We got your PCB, 7 10K resistors, a single 100K ohm resistor, a 470 ohm resistor, a 4-pin dip switch, or rather 4-switch dip switch, a 78 LO5 5-volt regulator, a red LED, 5-volt relay, 10 microfarad electrolytic capacitor, 0.1 microfarad electrolytic capacitor, or sorry, ceramic capacitor, a 2N2222 NPN transistor, 3-pin terminal block, 2-pin terminal block, an 8-pin dip socket, a programmed PIC 10F222, a monetary push-button switch, and a power diode. So each component on this board is very well labeled. The footprints speak for themselves, if I don't say so myself. But what we'll do is I'll show you how to put it together, because some of these components have to be placed a certain way, and it'll help you along when you're putting yours together should you choose to buy one. So first of all, let's look at our resistors. R9 is a 100K, R8 is a 470 ohm resistor, and from R1 to R6 and R7, sorry, are all 10K resistors. Resistors, as most of you know, do not have a polarity. You can put them in either way, it doesn't matter. Let's solder them into place. Then we'll do our capacitors, our diodes, our regulator and our transistor, and the other parts. We've got two capacitors. The ceramic capacitor is C4, which is a 0.1 microfarad capacitor. Since it's ceramic, it doesn't matter which way you place it in, there's no polarity. So place that and solder it in. C3 is a 10 microfarad capacitor, which is electrolytic, which means that there is a polarity. And if you look on the left side here, it's hard to see, but there is a little plus sign indicator. So make sure that you place your longer lead, which is your positive, into the side with the positive indicator, with the plus sign. The shorter lead is your negative, and that'll go on the right hand side of the C3 footprint, right above the C3 indicator. Solder those into place. Next we'll do the regulators, or the regulator, the transistor, and the diode. Your diode has a white stripe on one side of it, and that's your negative indicator, your cathode indicator. And on the footprint, there is a white line on one side as well. Make sure when you solder it that you match the white line with the diode with the white line on the footprint. If you don't, when the relay turns on, you're going to get a short circuit, and you're not going to have a very happy day. The regulator is the 78 LO5, and the NPN transistor, the 2N2222, look the same. There's writing on the front. Make sure you do not mix them up, or the circuit will not work, and you'll have some desoldering to do. The footprints look almost identical as well. They are labeled. T1 is 2N2222, and IC2 is the 78 LO5. Now the 78 LO5 takes your input voltage and regulates it down to 5 volts to protect the IC. The transistor is used to drive the relay. So from the front, on the flat side of the regulator, it'll say 78 LO5. Notice that on the footprint there is a flat side and a curved side. from a bird's eye view, make sure to place the flat side facing the flat side and the curved side facing the curved side. Same goes with the transistor. If you place these backwards, the circuit will not work, and you might potentially harm the circuit. So be very careful and do not make that mistake. Okay, you guys are probably pretty tired of hearing me talk, so I'm going to hurry this up. The LED has two pins, a short and a long. The long is your positive, the short is your negative. The footprint, labeled red LED 1, has a curved side and a flat side. You can't see it from here, but the flat side is facing these two external pads. So place your negative on this side and your positive on this side. So your longer lead here, your shorter lead here. If you don't place it in the right orientation, you're not going to have an LED indicator. Your button really only fits in one way. Line up the holes, pop it in. Should pop in quite easily. Your socket. Notice on the footprint there is a notch right beside the IC1 indicator. There's a notch in the footprint. There's also a notch on the socket. There's also a notch on the PIC. You might not be able to see them from there, but you have to make sure that you line up the notch with the notch on the footprint. So place the socket with the notch facing the notch on the footprint. Solder into place, then put your PIC in facing the notch. Place it in backwards and power it up. You're likely going to fry your chip, so I can't stress that enough. Lastly, your dip socket. There should be an on indicator. In this case, there's an on arrow facing upwards. And so what you want to do is you want to pop this into place. It fits right in. And solder that in. That will be our selector pin. Whenever we turn any of those on singularly and press the button, that will be the duration of our relay will turn on for. So let's solder those into place. We'll do the terminal blocks and the relay, and we will be done. Sorry guys, I made it stupid. I neglected a 0.1 microfarad capacitor. We've got two 0.1 microfarad capacitors. I'm sure by this time in the video you've already seen my caption. So you soldered that into place. Again, that ceramic capacitor doesn't have a polarity. It can go in either way. Lastly, we'll do our two terminal blocks and our relays. At this point, we are golden. We are done. The relay only fits in one way. There's 3 pins on one side, 2 on the other. It fits right in. Solder it. Make sure when you solder, you get good solder joints. It should flow directly to the pads, and the pads are very big. The first terminal block, make sure that the contacts are facing outwards. Make sure that they are facing outwards. Because if you turn it around, you're going to have trouble. Same here. If you wire with these external contacts facing the relay, you're not going to be able to wire anything to it. And we're going to need that relay so we can wire up a lamp to it or a TV. Anyway, let's quickly solder those up. We'll give it a test. Power is on. Keep your input voltage to between 7 and 8 volts DC. If you have a wall transformer, great. That's what I would use. But try to get a 7 volt wall transformer. Because if you use higher voltages, say 9 or 10 volts, the regulator starts to get hot. You can't heatsink easily anyway a 78L05. The next rev will have a 7805, but if you have a 7 volt wall wart, that's ideal. That's what you want. 8 volts, great too. 9 volts, you'll notice that if you have the relay on for a long period of time, it's going to start to get pretty hot. I wouldn't say fire hazard hot, but still pretty hot. That is only when the relay's on. When the relay's off, it's only sourcing a few milliamps at best. So what you can do at this point is you can actually short those two leads, or you can press the button. Right now we've got it in 30-second mode, so I'll press the button. Relay is turned on. LED is turned on. Again, if I made some changes to the dip switch settings, I can have this on for 15 minutes, 1 minute, 30 minutes, and an hour. But if you leave them all off, you have a default of 30 seconds. When this turns off, what I'll do is I'll quickly use my screwdriver head, which is conductive, to short those two leads. Again, you can place 2 long wires there and run it across the room, put it to a circuit across the room that turns this on, say if a motion detector detects it. Anyway, the relay turns off. I'll short these just to show you, and then we'll hook it up to some AC. There you go. What I've done here is I've taken an AC power cord, or rather a power block. I've cut the black wire, the hot wire, placed one of the spliced wires in the CO pin, which is a common pin, and the other into the NO pin, which is the normally open pin. When the relay is activated, it reconnects the wires internally. When the relay is disactivated, the common pin is connected to the NC pin, which is the left. The NC stands for normally connected to common. So let's just have a look at my setup here. I've got my circuit powered at 7.5 volts DC. My power bar is being powered by 120 volts AC, which you can see on the left, and the power bar itself is supplying power to a lamp, which I'll show you in a second. Now, the lamp, anything on that power bar will be activated once the relay is activated. Now, I use the lamp because it's convenient, and as well, you don't want to power a microwave with this. The traces aren't meant for that type of current. You can supply typically about 120 volts AC at about 2 amps. So a small TV would be fine, which is quite a bit of power, but that should be fine. Lamps, your Christmas tree. So let's turn it on. Okay, so I'm gonna go press the button. Keep in mind I've got this set for 30 seconds because I can't let the video last forever. Relay's turned on. I can walk away. I can set this for 1 minute, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour. Walk away from it, it'll turn off on its own. You could leave your apartment, everything will be hunky-dory. So in about 10 seconds it'll turn off on its own, and that'll be the end of the video. Sorry to make this drag on, guys. I hope you found it useful if you purchased the kit. There we go. And now nothing's going to re-trigger that. Nothing is going to re-trigger that unless you manually short those 2 pins or you press the button. So, thanks for watching, guys.